Alright guys, Supreme Kami over here. So the last bit of things we pretty much covered for this whole period is going to be the number 93 Gunpla Fragments. So in terms of what we are able to exchange, these are going to be the following Gunpla parts and then pilot that we are able to get. In terms of, let's say, turn A and turn X, for example, I should have the respective Custom EXQ, kind of like a demonstration of what they can actually do, what kind of output. So if anyone is interested in planning this one, for example, though, I do have the demonstration for you guys over there. But honestly, I mean, like, they're not too bad of an animation overall. But if you're planning to, like, all right, spend your 40 fragment, for example, is it really worth it? Here's gonna depend on what you guys like, for example. But if I, like, for me personally, I'm gonna take all these 40 fragments and turn them into those force pick tickets. Because new 4-star parts, this has a pretty neat EXQ as well. So why not? So these are gonna be the follow part. In terms of, let's say, Pale Rider, Gundam Legatus, and then even Earth 3, for example, they do have some pretty decently alterations, so they're definitely not something to discount as well. Let's say for turn A and turn X, they do need their specific, let's say, L badges, so it could be a problem. Let's say if players weren't able to get the L badges, that could be a problem because there's no alteration for you guys, unfortunately. So let's kind of take a look at some of the alteration for the standard stuff and see if there's anything that's good that you guys may be wanting to look out for. So let's actually start things up with the Pale Rider. So Pale Rider, I believe, came out in a fairly old time schedule, I believe. So in terms of stat wise, for example, I don't think it should be anything held accountable for example. I believe the torso does have some pretty good combo, for example. This one is going to be that EXQ CUDA reduced by 20%, so that's kind of fairly decent. In terms of the secondary portrait, you are getting above EXQ effects up by 30%, so that is hugely going to allow you to output more, so that's actually good. In terms of the condition, it is going to lock you down to running a speed attribute, so that's definitely something to kind of be mindful for it before you're grabbing it. And then in terms of the secondary portrait or the secondary effects, that's what you to be running at 100% of the time, Outfighters. So if you guys are not able to fulfill these two requirements, it's pretty much all for nothing in a way. But if you guys can, this is definitely not a bad torso to be looking at. In terms of the arms, I don't think it's anything that good. Yeah, nope. First portrait is good, but the second portrait is like, huh? Damage output boost by 50, only up to 300. I mean, it's not bad. If you consider, let's say, running at any Gatling weapon, for example, it's gonna be per that route, so it's good. But honestly, it's like I'd rather take percentage portrait over any flat out numbers. So it's pretty much at any time the given week. So but yeah, that's gonna be pretty much it. I would definitely say the torso is definitely the best candidate. And then in terms of, let's say, the EXQ, they are definitely gonna be at your discretion because everyone's built obviously different. So if you do like it, for example, definitely go for them. If not, they're just kind of whatever anyway. So I mean, like, they hit pretty hard even about the alterations. So yeah, it's not too terrible. So those are definitely going to be at under your discretion whether or not you want to alterate it. But in terms of the portrait, it's definitely not a bad option for sure. So up next, I believe we are looking at age series, so we should be looking at the Legatus. So let's see what we are doing here. So Legatus, we don't really have that many portrait. We have 1, 2, 3 only. So let's see. Hit part, I believe, is not too terrible because you do have those projectile speed boosted, so that is gonna allow your EXQ to hit faster. So if you're interested in that respect, this one could be a good candidate because you are pairing that up with an EXQ power boosting, so not bad overall. What about the leg portrait? Leg portrait has another one of those what is it, EXQ cooldown, so that's not bad. And then you're pairing that up with a EXQ or enemy EXQ power reduce, so that could be a good combo if you're looking for that. But otherwise, first portrait was decent enough already that you don't need to alterate it in a way. So what about the rifle? Is it anything worth mentioning? Okay, so in terms of the rifle, first portrait is definitely good for your attack attribute. Secondary portrait is like a hit or miss, you don't really need it in a sense, so yeah. But yeah, other than that, in terms of all the other stuff, they are hugely going to be depends on if you do like EXE whatsoever. The back EXQ is definitely not too terrible. Opto alteration is it hits like a truck. In terms of the other ones, I believe shield is not a bad option as well. So those are definitely something you guys can look into it if you guys are missing any of these parts. So up next, we should be talking about, let's see, the next one should be the Earth 3, right? So let's see what's going on. So Earth 3 did came out on a recently schedule in a sense, like it's one of the newer ones. So portrait should be pretty good, and style wise definitely is not too terrible. So this one you're getting another one of those buff EXQ effects up by 22%, so that's pretty good. In terms of the secondary portrait, is only going to be locking you to your ranged weapons, so it's not going to be too good if you're talking about, let's say, oh, I want my leg EXQ or even my back EXQ to hit harder. And unfortunately, this one is only going to be at the ranged weapons, so probably not the best option. But this aspect of it, the buff trait, definitely pretty solid, so not bad overall. What about the arms? Is it anything worth mentioning? Not really. The arm is pretty sad as well. Ugh, unfortunate. What about the leg? The leg is good-ish in a way, but this one doesn't want you to be using a middle shooter, so kind of strange. This one is like a pro tag Gundam type, so I guess this one is looking like a dual type build. Okay, yeah, it's definitely not too terrible if you do need something of this caliber. So what about the saber? First portrait sucks, but the secondary portrait is gonna be one of those enemy power melee power reduce. So, like I said again, if you like those, let's say reducing your enemy power, this could be a good option. But other than that, the saber is definitely another hot skip as well. And last but not least, we do have the shield to kind of go over and see what we have. The shield wise does not have the best portrait whatsoever, but I believe the stat is not too terrible. Stat wise, it's definitely something. It's definitely a respectable amount in a way for offensive and defensive. So could be something you want to look out for as well. But other than that, I would definitely say the torso is like a very decently promising portrait. But let's say if you don't have any of these parts, you just want it for the collection purposes, you could definitely go for them as well. But other than that, they are not remotely anything good that you want to have in today's meta. So that is gonna be it for the number 93 Gunpla Fragments. They're not the best batch of unit in my opinion. Hopefully in terms of, let's say, the number 94 could be a better selection, but yeah, to that day comes, and that is gonna be pretty much it for this review, and then I'll catch you guys on the next one.